89 million homes are now Ohio's priciest swimming pools. In the HOA president who tried to crush me is wading through floodwater watching her empire dissolve. 2 years ago, Cynthia Reynolds waged war when I challenged her lakefront utopia. She mocked me as a delusional old man for warning her project would drown. She didn't know she'd picked a fight with someone who'd studied this lake for 30 years. Now flood season's here, the water's rising as I predicted, and her reckoning is unfolding. I'm Ethan Caldwell, and this is a tale of vengeance and nature's wrath share. Where you're reading from, this gets wild. The roar of bulldozers at 6:30 a.m. jolted me from sleep in my lakeside cabin, still in yesterday's flannel. I peered out and dropped my coffee mug, shattering it. 20 yellow beasts lined up to raise the forest, where my late wife Clara and I shared countless evenings under ancient oaks. Her ashes were scattered there bare-chested. I stormed out, boots sinking in march mud. The foreman, grizzled under a worn, hard hat, barely glanced up, talked to the boss. He grunted, nodding at a black Mercedes pulling up. Out stepped Cynthia Reynolds, late 40s, blonde hair defying the breeze power suit, screaming wealth. Her heels clicked like a countdown. "Good morning," she said, voice saccharine. "I'm Cynthia Reynolds, Riverside Eden Estates, HOA president. You're Ethan Caldwell." I crossed my arms. "Why are bulldozers tearing down my wife's memorial?" Her smile flickered. "I understand your concern, but I have permits." She flashed a thick folder. The Riverside Commission approved 89 luxury homes, all legal. The papers looked official, but something stank. "No one told me," I said, shoving them back, "courtesy to residents." She laughed. "I see. I don't consult squatters." "Squatters? I'd paid taxes 15 years. Deed secure I own this land." I snapped. Her eyes hardened. "That's for courts. Stay out of our way. Investors are watching." As she drove off, a tree crashed, echoing my helplessness back inside. I opened Clara's journal. "This lake is pure, Ethan, God's sanctuary promise. No one spoils it." My old engineering notebook held 30 years of lake data. 8-foot summer rises clockwork. As a retired hydraulic engineer who designed this area's water system, I knew every valve. Photos showed past flood-swallowing structures. "Clara," I whispered to her, "picture those homes will be boats." The Riverside Planning Commission office was a fluorescent purgatory of stale coffee and faded posters. After 45 minutes in a plastic chair, a clerk emerged, wary when I requested Riverside Eden's permits. "And environmental studies I'll check," she muttered, vanishing. A woman my age with sharp eyes and a leather bag. "Approached you here about Eden Estates?" she asked. I nodded. "Ethan Caldwell, lakeside resident." She smiled. "Laura Bennett, Riverside Gazette reporter." "I've been stonewalled on those documents. Something's off." The clerk returned with a thin folder, barely a dozen pages. "Misplaced originals," she shrugged. Laura scoffed. "Where's the water table data, flood assessments?" I spread my charts. "Every summer the lake rises 8 feet 30 years. "Data?" Laura's eyes lit up. "You're a scientist, hydraulic engineer. I built this county's water system. 30 homes will flood by July." My phone rung. Unknown number. "Mr. Caldwell." "This is Attorney Harris representing MS Reynolds," a slick voice said. "Your inquiries risk legal consequences. You're banned from the site, trespass, and you're charged." Laura overheard. "Recorder out. They're threatening you for public records." "Let's go on record." Hope surged. I had an ally. "I still access the water system's monitors." I told her, "Cynthia is playing dirty, but I can make water." Her nightmare. Laura grinned. "Let's document nature's revenge." Cynthia struck next morning, cutting my power and water dump trucks, buried my driveway in debris. A black SUV with 2 suited men parked at dusk, one smirking. "Nice night, Caldwell. Dangerous to walk alone." Rage flared, but Clara's pacifism stayed my hand. Instead, I rigged motion sensors, cameras and alarms from old projects, turning my cabin into a fortress. Laura arrived with coffee and a dossier on Cynthia for failed developments lawsuits. For environmental violations, fraud, all settled secretly. She promises 30% returns, Laura said, showing a prospectus impossible without a scam. A clause shifted liability to the county for unforeseen issues. The SUV returned one man photographing my setup, mocking, "Hope nothing disturbs your peace." I sketched tweaks to the water system, subtle flow boost to amplify natural flooding, untraceable June's heat. Heralded flood season. My monitors showed a 6-inch rise overnight by Thursday. Another foot crack split foundation's basement seeped. Cynthia doubled down, hosting a press conference at her sales office, flanked by logos she used. Confidence, malicious rumors from jealous naysayers. She said, eyeing me, "Our engineers confirm no flood risk," pointing at me. She accused David Caldwell is sabotaging water systems, and eco-terrorist police cuffed me for criminal mischief. As cameras rolled, Laura filmed her eyes fierce in a reeking cell. Detectives grilled me on sabotage, clueless about natural flooding after 6 hours. Laura and lawyer Rachel Hayes, an environmental specialist, freed me, no evidence. Rachel said, "It's intimidation. Your arrest is our weapon." Laura's interviews revealed panic. 3 families fled homes, unsellable. The lake lapped 50 feet from my porch. Normal but deadly for Cynthia's homes. Peaks 12 feet higher. I told Laura, showing data, "These houses are doomed." Channel 7 arrived at dawn. Reporter Emily Carter framing my cabin and the flooding site. "You're accused of EO-terrorism," she said. I spread my notebooks. 30 years of data show 8 to 12 T-summer rises. This is nature, not sabotage. Laura unveiled emails Cynthia knew of. Flood risks planned to blame weather. A memo outlined silencing locals. Sirens interrupted. Emergency crews raced to Lakeshore Drive, where a home's basement held 3 feet of water. Its foundation cracked. Owners, a young couple, wept. "We sank everything into this," the husband said. Waiving warranties, Cynthia arrived. Lawyers in tow, insisting Caldwell's sabotage. I countered with data. "This is below average flooding. Wait for a wet summer." 3 days later, helicopters buzzed as water rose 4 feet, turning homes into islands. News showed Cynthia's office raided by FBI for fraud, hacking, and conspiracy. She was cuffed, hair wild suit. Crumpled. Detective Collins called probing system tampering my logs. Show hacks from Digital Solutions. Cynthia's contractor, I said, sharing records of unauthorized access. Boosting flows at the sheriff's. Collins marveled. Federal crime. 20 years. Channel 7 aired Laura's scoop, sealing Cynthia's fate. Her trial gripped Ohio. I testified, showing flood patterns. Her hacker flipped, admitting orders to frame me. Mayor Evans sobbed, confessing bribes for rush permits. Cynthia's call accusing me played, exposing her lies. Guilty on all counts. Fraud, hacking, obstruction. She got 15 years, $12.8 million in restitution. Her fear, as she was led away, was justice itself. Laura's Pulitzer-winning exposé sparked probes nationwide. Ohio apologized, offering me a consultancy. Flood victims honored Clara and me with a plaque at her scattering site. The lake reclaimed the site. Wildflowers and saplings sprouted through ruins. Laura and I now close. Plan a book on fraud. Each dawn I sit with Clara's photo coffee. Steaming loons calling. Cynthia learned nature's laws. The hard way her greed drowned, but truth floated. "What's your fight?"